Okay. Yes, very happy to be here. Talk about this important uh, life and death experience. First I want to do some meditation prayers and practices for myself. Then I want to address the death and dying experiences, my experiences when I was in Tibet, and then I came to US, and what I saw and the people dying, and what's really need help that moment. Kongajar zon tayi mamngon ke san zama don trajon. Changhui zo zhen de sarvin do kin miki dasachir. Tigjin damma kini chiron chi ten sum ji kon cha pa. Ton pa ma karu je pe tenon dalu pan surjon. Orgyen Chowang Rinpoche don bola yarinam terong shong ten ji to chanzo hui shen yon dan zong bari. Pan mam jong ne dalu pan surjon. Chuke nyamba ni ji zhang yong si rono kason ro zar zog pa zhe zhe do ming gong bo hlong chen ba zhe me wo zer zhao la su ran de. Ma vi song ki kong rik pi mi chen di lang mi chong chong kan chang chong jan be khor jir der si kur ni pa rong som chu ji zong bor jar chir chi. Rik tong jan par jo ni shen lo le gong be long ne po be te ju tru long to chum zo jam sung av dang chong ma pang jang yong nam ja la su ran de. Ane chen ro sing yi zhang kam sun jan par tik ji shen lo ya lan men Jigme Phuntsok la su ran de gong je to pang po shin ji lo. Gong dar nyang jirin zem la ma dong shi chok tu chun chong ye dam la ne sum kan ru je sum chok sum che ram jo za sum la la gu shang char. Hong er jin er jin da shang chang pa ma ke sar dong ba la yam chen cha ke ngu ni pa mam jang ni chi sar. Kur dam kan ru mong bo kur che je je sab da de chi shen je lap shir shal so so nem chong da rap shen po la. Udam chok da la je kar ga dong lang de mar che sum chok dong tam mong jo so. Oma hong banzan gara pa ma thum thong zan banzar samayan za siddhi pala hong. Oma hong banzan gara pa ma thum thong zan banzar samayan za siddhi pala hong. Oma hong banzan gara pa ma thum thong zan banzar samayan za siddhi pala hong. Okay, again, welcome here, everyone, to join today's session. I want first is ask people, first order to receive teachings and benefit, you need first relax your mind, physically relax, and make sure your sitting is very comfortable. And make also show you fully present of these teachings and relax, let go tensions, hesitations, judgments. All these things interfere your practice and also listening the teachings. And then the container of the anything is there. For example, you serve the food. The container is clean. The food is, clean, very delicious, not contaminated. But the containers, contaminate, the food is become contaminated and become unhealthy food, yes, and it hurts your well-being or stomach. Same way, this is number one when you receive teachings, any kind of teachings, also practice meditation is like anything is pure motivation, pure mind is the number one. It's not just only do the teachings, but also you have to, talk to someone or like have relationships. You invite someone dinner, The number one is your mind is sincere, openness, clean, then everything is become extraordinary. Everything's become successful. Successful practice, successful connections, relationships, everything is come from your mind is fully, prepared. Preparation is, you're fully present, relax your mind, and also have enthusiasm, appreciation, gratitude, If you have this mindset, whatever you do is successful. Therefore, when you receive teachings like death and dying or what any other teachings you receive, the number one priority is make sure your mind is open, clear, not contaminated by ordinary, thoughts. Sometimes, the number one obstacle your life is ordinary thoughts. They always intervene. Extraordinary things, practices, connections, even your connection of Dharma, most deadly number one is not external conditions, your own ordinary belief systems, and contaminate, the ordinary belief systems, number one, ideology. People have many ideologies. When you go to school, you hang out with certain people, you hear the news. These ideologies really interfere your practice, and they call internal, obstacles. Guru Rinpoche says, all these things subside, and then you can really hear the truth. Whatever you do, you're not just only teaching. Whatever you do more effectively, then your mind is fully present and sincere. That's what I want to say first. And then today I want to talk about this, stories of death and dying. First, I want to say, this is the most important. Living and death is connected, You cannot separately practice death, but living is preparation to death. If you living well, it does affect your death, And that means the number one is prepare when you're young, means you're young, and even like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And I think living well is very important. What living well means, be positive, be content, be appreciate, If you have good life, living that way, I did very most positive, extraordinary things you did this lifetime. And then when the moment you dead is feel content. It's not, attitude is, most people do, like Dharma practitioners, what they do is, they say living extraordinary way, living positive, living optimistic, you're not just only thinking of just this lifetime, you're thinking about moment of death and afterlife. And you have this kind of attitude, and then the moment death is already prepared. And then death comes naturally. Oh, wow, no problem. There's no fear, there's no resentment, there's no attachment. Just living, death is really, really peaceful. Many examples like shows like Malaripa, like Longchenpa, many extraordinary masters, other things, many things, they die very peacefully. It's not that moment of death, but how they live. It's not like, I'm very, I didn't do anything in my life, not just prepare death, like last few months. It's good, but I think therefore story shows, and if you doing lifetime is good things, extraordinary things, and then that gave you your life, death is become more richer and fearless. Therefore, I think Anything positive things you need done, you need rejoice. Remember that. And negative things you done, you like you confess, you purify, and during this lifetime. Yeah, and you need good to the people. You need good to the your friends. You need good to the world, and then that's all preparation dead. But you are just too much negativity everywhere, and then death is not that beautiful. Negativity, mind, you angry and like conflict more and more, pollute the world, and then you cannot prepare death. Oh no, I'm prepared death. Everything's my life is messed up. No, it's very hard to do. Yeah. Therefore, and you want to prepare death means you need to have your lifetime. During the lifetime, you need to have doing wonderful things, extraordinary things. And then death is naturally prepared, and you don't need fear, you don't need anything. I think life is very important. We don't need to ignore, when we talk about death, we need living is example, living is example. And I think that's really reason, many people have extraordinary death. It's not like death moment, but they live very extraordinary way. That's determined. Many thousands years shows why such people have good death experience. It's not that moment, but they have very good life experiences. They live in positive fully, and like they don't have resentment anyone. They don't resent anyone. They have good connections. They do practice many years. And that really means, living fully, called dying fearlessly, that's a connect. Living fully and dying fearlessly. Or living fully, dying with the satisfaction. I think that's really reason humans, we need, I think we need to realize, there's so many beings in this world, like animals, dogs, cats, birds, fish, they're living very, modest way, and something very ordinary, sometimes very suffering. But humans live with so many, they have good food, they have very nice, comfortable bed, even, and they have just eating, try to today Chinese food, tomorrow you can go to, Thai food, next time you just go to vacation, like traveling, so many things, I think they have good life, precious human life. And once you realize precious human life, and you need, wow. If you have realized precious human life, and then you live a wonderful life, and then death is, okay, it's now time to go, I live wonderfully, and then I think we need appreciation and gratitude sometimes. People don't have, people don't have that, then it's, what's life, people think life is, all this complicated or difficult, but we only, one side. There are many good things alive, And then also, many people, when death comes, oh, I live wonderful life. That means that person has good death. It's not like you cannot just prepare that moment. You need to prepare right now. I say, you should gratitude for everyone, whatever you have. You should do practice. You should do everything. You should live fully in life. Life is, like that way. Even a struggle, everyone has some degree struggle, but we need to look at the positive side. You see there's people say, glass half full, half empty, and then like similar. And then, therefore, I think the teachings and meditation of precious human life, their teaching, meditation is thinking other people, other beings' life, and like dogs, cats, and then all these other people's life. Compare that, your Dharma practitioner, you have 18 qualities of life. 18 qualities. If you remember that, then there's appreciation. Even, people have some problems. We can avoid problems, Once you remember that, wow, we are living wonderful life, and then you remember that, and then when you die, then there's, you see the nature reality, because no one can live forever, No one can, people die certain point because things are conditional, things are circumstantial. If you realize things are permanent, first you need to realize life is precious. Second is you realize everything's impermanent, then you don't have attachment. When you die, you let go easily. I think these things are very important. Cause and effect, precious human lifetime, all these things are, everything's impermanent. Then you have the right perspective, right perspective when you live, when you die. You say, what really makes, you're different than other people. When you die, you have the right perspective. The bottom line is, what's really make different is your perspective makes it different. How do you perceive death? Therefore, I want to say, life and death is connected. You cannot separate, therefore. And I was thinking myself, I want to live in fully. I want to meaningfully. Then I want to die. I don't care whether I die. I'm dying, maybe it doesn't matter, anywhere. Even I didn't have practice, I didn't have chance to practice, you are not regret because you done whole entire life, the extraordinary things you did. Whether you die hospital, whether you die, home, whether you die some different location, whether you die, tragically dead, car accident, doesn't matter. If you live in fully, and then you have, you have all these things build that up. The moment death is, I think the best way to die is you choose somewhere to die. But even that not still, no regret because you have for living, life is wonderful. Therefore, I think my number one is if you live in fully, live in extraordinary way, then death is wonderful. Death is good. Death is, it's natural. No need fear. I think therefore living fully, that's more number one is then, and then that's really I recommend then, just prepare death, and then moment of death comes, and then I can, what we can do in the very end, I always talk about how we die, preparation, moment of death, okay? That's one of it first. And then I want to talk about the second thing is Tibet, stories of Tibet. I was growing up Tibet, culture. And I was young, and then I came to US. First, I was in Tibet. What is the Tibetan people, how they die, Their dying is, first, my mother's mother, I have grandma and other people, they're senior people, they're different lifestyle than here. What they do is they're in 60s, and everybody, we become like that. I remember everyone's become they're more dedicated in their life dharma. That's only they do. Most people do. And I realized, that time, I didn't realize that time, but I now realize I have one uncle called Talhin. He's, 60s, 70s. There's some black tent wall, yak hair made called black tent. They have that. The people living in, black tents, Tibetan nomads. And then he always sitting other side, the next side, all day. I was child that time, all day staying, morning to, staying on the other side, one, blanket, and wool, that yak blanket. And he always, do the, all day, mornings like this. There's prayer wheel, the prayer wheel, and I do many, just sometimes smile, just all day. And it says the lunch time is, he says, someone's, oh, lunch is ready, and he come back to have lunch, few, 1 hour, 2 hours, and he go back to the same spot. He doing like that. I was young, I don't know what he's doing, and I don't never know what he's doing, but he's always smile, smile doing this prayer practice. And many people like that. And then what really I notice now is, when you old, something like that, the meaning of life is totally different. And he's doing that prayer where, and he's doing that mantra is really, he feels very meaningful. He's, totally content, happy, because what he's doing something very meaningful. He has faith, his belief, and that makes almost like that's prayer will, this, he's doing that, that's one way, that's really his happiness, meaning, also psychology. Because that gave you, that alone solve all problems and, gave meaning each moment. And then that's example, but, I didn't realize that time, but now I look, most happiest people doing everyday practice, they're very content. And I was telling him, my father lives right now, a remote area, just himself. There's monastery up there, hill he lives. Just all day doing practice, and he's lived there. People want my mother, my brothers, sisters they want him. He come to their home, but he refused to stay there. And I talk to sometimes video calls, but he's really content. I can't believe it. He says, how do you? He's always very happy. It's very wonderful. I'm doing reading, enjoy, enjoy here. He's really enjoy look like. He's really enjoy like. And what really they spend time during your senior years, they focus totally on Dharma. If you really fully, really little bit understanding their satisfaction and their meaning life come from what they do. And that's really a Tibetan, mostly people like older people, they're dedicated. There's groups, senior groups, once they're left, even if sometimes 50s, now they go to the senior people living in different parts, different town, their small houses, they go there. It's not like there's no dining room, but each person is its own place, each person is own cooking, but they're own community. Even the 50s go there, do just receive teachings. Someone, they have teacher, receive teachings, and then teach that way, they live that way, and then they're doing practice. And then I see most these people are really, I feel very content, very joyful, and also feel meaningful. And then I think that's really are the right now people are doing, still people doing, but traditionally they do. I saw many people, they're healthy and they enjoy, they feel meaningful. That's before you die, you prepare. And then during when moment of death comes, and then the family members go to, and then also Lama come to their home to ceremony, do the ceremony and practice poa, poa. They do the poa there, and also do some bardo introductions, and then talk about teachings and not attach it. Whenever you die, do not touch this world. give some introductions, and then that's really the practice. That's really the practice they do right now. And then, sorry, let me see this. Yeah, and that's really their practice. They do. They have individual practices. They also do. Some people depend what kind of practice you are. You're a Dzogchen practitioner. They, rest. Someone Dzogchen practitioner. They rest nature and mind. Rigpa or pure awareness. I think that's number one. People do. You don't know how to do, and then also you need to do Poa. Some people do master Poa. And also, practice Dzogchen or Pardo teachings are similar. They do Pardo introductions, reading. And also, if you don't know teachings Pardo and Dzogchen or Poa, they just pray some Amitabha Buddha's prayers or Avalokiteshvara prayers they do. And then the family members do, and that person you can, doing that is that moment. And that's where they do. And then, during someone die, during that moment death. Then after death, what it really happens is people die after death. 49 days, they practice Bardo Tutor. It means like they really translate in Tibet, Book of Dead, There's big, beautiful ceremony, introductions like that's goal 49 days. They do that ceremony. 49 days. Every day, 5, 6 lamas, or maybe sometimes 10, 20 lamas invite. These people do like every day, morning to evening, whole entire Bardo introduction, purification, introduction, wrath for peaceful deities, introduction, nature, mind, all others burning, purify the negative karma, all these things, death, guiding rituals, like almost like 10 lamas do 49 days, okay? And therefore, I think Tibetan people focus more dead person, Here's more, focus more living the people, yes? And then dead people, the dying people, already dead people need more guidance. They focus more guidance, how we can help that someone died. And then during these 49 days, the family member doing very positive things, recite mantras, prayers, dedicators. Almost after, after 49 days, family member has very pain, or like sometimes people are crying. I think the more you have family connection, the more you have a little bit more, painful sometimes the numbers die, Therefore, people have a difficult time during after people die. Once they did 49 days, the practice, they feel something they're done, feel released. Then it's become, okay, no, I'm no longer remorse. I'm no longer, sad. And then I done everything what I done and feel released after 49 days. Their pain, their anything, sadness, all these things release the 49 days after that. And that's really they're doing in Tibet, very expandively and, doing that. Very, very perfectly, and focus dying person is very big. It's not small, like so many days, so many hours, and also other people can visit, bring also sometimes many people come together, practice focus mostly to practice helping the people something death. After death is more doing than before death, and that I think that's really are the brief, stories of Tibetan. I didn't see particularly die when I was young because I was young that time, you know. And then now I want to talk about this. Since I came to U.S., I want to stories, you know, have U.S. I came to U.S. I have some stories I, you know, saw throughout, you know, 25 or 30 years I live in U.S. I want to talk about stories, and I saw people dying, what they did, what happened, you know. Yeah, since I came to U.S., I saw, you know, many people. I also did many POA teachings, and also each year I host in POA, because POA is very important to guide to for people. And you know, U.S. death is like this. Death is, you know, like suddenly prepare. Yeah, I think we need to prepare death right now, and you know, dying or dying. When I see, you know, death dying is U.S. is, you know, sometimes people don't want to talk, you know, just ignore, and then they're maybe 3 more months or 1 year before someone says diagnosed cancer or like something, then people focus more death, yes. And then I saw this many times. Once people come to the dying, you know, everyone's interested in Dharma. Then everyone begins interest in Dharma like increase. Even if someone have never know Dharma, but if death comes, then everyone has some answer. Then everyone is interested in meditation of Dharma at that moment, because there's no other answers. I remember, you know, I would tell this last few years ago, I told this story, you know, like when I was living in Greenberry, and there's someone Napa Valley, and there's this person is, you know, very famous chef. I think she has many, you know, like famous restaurants, Napa Valley and some other places. Someone asked me, can she come to see you about talk to meditation of death? They asked me, I said, yes, of course. And then she come to me, and she says she has this, you know, sickness, brain cancer, you know, like 6 months only she have, and then she don't have many days left, and then what she can do. She asked me that, and then I was thought, you know, like, wow, you know, it's a little bit, I was telling you, you're a little bit late, you know, like I wish you can do, she wanted to do meditation practice. Yes, I can do meditation practice, but you know, a little bit too late. But yes, we appointment, you know, 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks later, sad news is someone says she passed away, you know. And sometimes, you know, people are too late, you know, prepared. And I went to, mostly, you know, like I went to so many people's places. But most times, someone not Dharma practitioner, they're sometimes too late. It's very hard to prepare. When you're sick, it's hard to do everything, introduction. Before you're sick, I think we need to prepare that, you know, realistically. Once you're sick, it's hard to do it because you're not capable of doing meditation, doing practice, learn from that. I think you learn from before that, and then prepare right now. You know, when you're healthy, you need. Once you have solutions, death is not, you know, not that fearful. If you know the Bardo teachings, POA, death is not that fearful. If you don't know, then it's maybe death is fear. But if Bardo teachings, you know, like POA gave you fearless, you know, even you hear fearless death, you know, like, oh, it's not that big a deal, you know. And I think it's very more comforting, you know, talk about death. It's not that fearful. First, I want a story. I'm telling you a story, you know. First story I'm telling is when I was in U.S., there's Napa Valley. One woman, she received some teachings from me and a little bit. She's Dharma practitioner, but not really, not everyday Dharma practitioner. But she like Dharma. She come to retreat. What I see is, I went to her, a few times, her place, and she's a moment to death. She's dying. She's at her home, and she's dying. And then I went to there, and some Sangha members went to there. We all did practice, and they're family members, family members and not practitioners. What I see is many times, my experience is many times I went to, the family members are very awkward, dying person. They don't know how to say. They don't know how to talk about it. They only say, I love you, that's it. Then it's just quiet. And they don't know how to engage with the dying person. There's not much dialogue, How do you say goodbye is too much, but I love you only one time, then there's no conversation. Conversation stops there. Someone don't know Dharma and don't know anything dying, never have any talk about dying before. And these people don't know how to talk about, dying person. It's no language. It's very intimidated a little bit, talk to the dying person and just stay in a, low place and look like this. And then I go there, talk to dying person. They relieve, someone talking of dying person. They really, thank you very much. You talk to my father or the dying person, but we don't know how to engage. We don't know how to say. We don't know how to talk to the, I don't know. Therefore, they're shy, and I don't know. It's a very awkward position they put, and that really reason. Learning Pardo teachings or how to talk the dead is very important. And then we are at that moment, the persons are dying, and then we are Sangha members, 5 people, we did practice together for her. But the family is not Dharma practitioner, but they really rejoice. Why? Because we are doing something they cannot do. We are doing something, or we are connect something, but these people, no one can offer that moment. Because they release, even someone doing something connect, that person a little bit more, the dying person is more relaxed and more, give more peace. That is very, very precious. Family members cannot do that. And that really saying. And then after that, the family members and few people interested in Dharma after she died, and they say they participate in or they donate of Dharma, and few people that time affects many people, impact that moment of death. Many people become more sincere practitioners, and also they Sangha members and also other things. They really, really help to everyone. That's my first, I went to death and experience, that really, really big impact. And, I think, therefore, I see what is, she's really sincerely, she's reading Tibetan Book of Dying, that book, and she's, Poa, or all these things, she's doing that. And I think that's give her really comfort, and also, that's really, I say, a first big impact for the Sangha members or family, that's really our, first engaging. I remember that. And second is, this, and I know this, there's a doctor, I don't need, I don't need names, names sometimes. There's a doctor, he's a good doctor. He lives north side, north side, San Francisco, this area. He has the story is he's many years practice Dharma, and then I know him very well, and he has some practice. I don't remember he did POA, but he did many retreats, and then some reason he moved to, he has a Russian wife. He has, Russian wife. They moved to Orgyen. And then after that, I didn't see him, long time. I didn't see him. He's living in Orgyen, but his wife is not practitioner, Dharma practitioner. She's, I don't know if she likes he's doing Dharma practice or not. Maybe a little bit, not really practitioner. And then he's a really dedicated practitioner. And then I know he's, hospitalized, someone I heard some friends. And then few months later, and then suddenly his wife called me. He called me, says, oh, my husband is really dying, but he's really violent. He's doing very violent. He's really shaking. He's, too violent. He really, doing, like his body, his movement is crazy. It's like a struggle. There's a struggles going on. What I can do, and there's anything you can do, please, I don't know what I do. I cannot help. Then I was telling her, can you put phone his ear? He says, yes, she can do that. Then she put his ear, and then I was told that name, hi, like this me, we know many years, and it's now I want to listen me, and don't do anything, just rest, and then just relax and just meditate. There's nothing going on. I give some pardon introductions, let go of this world. Just you remember everything past. Just let go anything. I just gave some pardon introductions, rest, then what meditating. Just phone, I phone like 5 minutes I did, then just hang on the phone. And then that happened, and then next few days later, his wife called me, she says, thank you very much, and after you talk, that, I don't know what it did, and he became more peaceful. He's no longer that, and he died. And his wife said, thank you. She never believed Dharma. Then she said, really, really helped. I don't know. And she, she thanks to me. But, like that kind, like people die sometimes. The people, when moment of death comes, they don't know what's going on, They think something bad things happening. Then Guru Rinpoche's Bardo teaching says, number one message you send is, Guru Rinpoche's Bardo teaching says, you need send, dying person's ear. You need whisper, like almost. What you need send message is, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever threat to you, it's nothing happen extra. Everything's in your mind. Please don't be fear. Don't be fear. And this says, in Guru Rinpoche Pama Sambhava, you must send this message. Every person dies moment death. And sometimes people, when they die, really things happen in their mind, really reality, really bad things happen in their life. I think that makes scary people struggle, And then Guru Rinpoche says, Ohong Chenpa's Bardo teachings says, and everything's your mind, and please don't be fear. I think we need this kind of introduction is very necessary. I notice, and most people struggle, and difficult is they don't realize all these things hallucination. It's reality. And then I think that's really reason before you die, a little bit familiar Bardo teachings are very important look like. And I think relax because his mind, he don't know what's going on, he don't know what's going on. He's scared. He's maybe some other things going on. Once I say relax and introduce it, and he came down and he died, like that way. I think that's really a true story. A true story. First is this person, and then the other, I want to say, the third I have this story I want to tell you is, there's some, also person, she's her husband a practitioner, her mother's not. Her mother's not, but then ask me to, her mother's not, but her mother never practiced Dharma. She don't have any religion. She never practiced Dharma. And they asked me to, when she dies, and when she want to come me there, and I always went to there. Her death, she's not Dharma practitioner, but moment death comes, what did she tell me? I was there, practice. She held my hands. Please help me. I love you. She know that's her language. Please help me. I love you. Okay. That means take refuge. Yes. Please help me. She never practiced before Dharma. She never. But she comes to know. She says, and she says that, like, oh wow, she's take refuge that moment, and then she's accept the, I did pova for her. I did pova for her. I did pova for her, that moment, and then after I did pova, I left, and then I left, like 20 minutes later, I was driving down. 20 minutes, they called me. She passed away after 20 minutes. I think sometimes people, take refuge that moment. And also she offer, says she knows, offer me something, there's she offered me offering in that moment. And that's another experience. Someone really never have exposure, but that moment she come to realize, she needed something help, and she said that. I was so touched, She says, "I love you. Please help me," and that really means a different way to take refuge. That's called refuge. Better than say someone say, "I'm take refuge in this that," just nothing. You don't have anything, but just really sincerely say that. And she's just holding my hands. When she's, going moment, she's really, really sick and really just going to that. But I can talk to her that moment. But yeah, and then, that's really another story. People die that way, and then it helps. Dharma helps, many different ways. And then this, and then there's another story. You're my stories. It's okay? Not okay. I'm teasing. Yeah, I think so. We need to have telling stories. This is good, yeah? Telling stories, real stories. And there's a San Francisco woman, receive many teachings. She's, sometimes go spirit rocks or like that. Sometimes I think my place, she come to teachings many times. Her husband, both, they're psychologists, something like that. And she's living in San Francisco, and she's really, I went to, talk to her moment to death, and, she's usually very stiff, very lip stiff. She's very serious, usually when living time is not that, it's easy to, she's very serious, a little bit uptight. And when I saw last time her went to San Francisco, she's different. She's different. She said first thing is, no, I say everything, I'm dying, I'm very skinny. no, I don't care, like, she said, no, I don't care, I love you, like, before I was really, like, she don't know how to say, I love you, like, please, whatever you do. She's more flexible. Her ego is totally not there. Because when death comes, egos, you're free, you accept you're dying, you just carefree, you don't care whatever you say, just naturally say, no, I'm dying, I have good life and I did practice Dharma, I love you, she hugs me just like that. Usually could not do that, usually just step, even I hug, say, maybe she said no, maybe there's a self-calm, not everything resolved. There's nothing, I don't care anything happens, and like that. And then she's really, really more flexible, more carefree, like that. I did some poa, and we do practice, we have good conversation, that, and then left, and then she passed away. That's another interaction with someone else, when they're all practitioners, and the good things. Everyone's really appreciate their Dharma practitioner when they dies. You understand? They're really glad that many years they did practice. They're really glad many still they're doing practice Dharma. That's really their count, mostly, very important, And then I think someone's never practiced Dharma. I think moment death comes, I think many people, I wish I need to know some spiritual or some, I need something than this material world, Yeah, that's really perceived, Okay, the next story is another story where all this, dead, dying, but fun stories, good stories, people, inspirations, not like all sad, difficult, inspirations, inspirations, people learn from that. And, there's another story, this is very, he's, like, San Francisco, many different people, San Francisco, this person in San Francisco's high class people. One person, and he's really living in San Francisco. He's high level San Francisco, the most high level, rich, prosperous, have people have some influence, power, of this kind of person. I know him many years. First, he asked me to go to Bhutan. I went to Bhutan with like 15 people. I took them. I went to Bhutan. I showed them Bhutan. Most people really, really transformed their lives. Yeah. And then, I was there, and he asked me, when he died, he wanted his body brain in Bhutan. He says he wanted to cremate in Bhutan, but that's his wishes. But he can't do that, But he's financially more wealthier, but it could not happen because during the COVID, it's forget anything. He passed away during the COVID. COVID, no one, he's, the hospital like San Francisco, he has some, lung problem with it's not COVID, but lung problem. As lung is not working, he has many months struggle. And that time is during COVID, it's the beginning COVID, it's really hard to see in each other. People cannot go in the hospitals, many things permit. And I always can't go, his daughter can't go. I went to visit 2 times, I think. He's, just went to there, and then I went to hospital. Therefore, he's living, nice room, everything's good, but many missions, these missions hook up his nose, everything's, missions breathing, he cannot breathe, missions breathe. And then I ask, hold his hands, can you hear, he hold my hands. He's more like, he can't understand what I talk to. I was doing, poa practice and also some prayers, and I did. But he's, I taught this many times. His, face look at the, window. There's only one way sleep like that, window face. I look there. I do practice everything. Hospitals like that, it's very ordinary, There's nothing special there. Only nurses comes, goes, treat, look at the patient, then go away. And then some missions, some noises, but just regular, ordinary place. And then his face in the window. Then I bought Guru Rinpoche photo. He really have connection Guru Rinpoche. He went to Bhutan and he do shower blessing practice. And I put that Guru Rinpoche photo in the window where he sees, sleep. That moment, that photo is $1 million prize. That's the only thing right now is valuable. He's wealthy, rich, houses, cars, they all not reliable, not worth that moment. The most worth is that photo, that moment. I say, look that photo, and then you die, just look that photo, then you just anything. I can't give some introductions, give introductions. Then I realized, oh wow, that photo is like more than $1 million, that moment. It's just like that. And then I don't know what that time or some other time, or remember some I think some doctor, which time, there's some another time. Yeah, I remember which, I went to that moment, some other things. There's a doctor, he told me, and people die, he says, my job is finished. No, it's time to your job, you can help. Doctors help enter that, but then someone also can help, someone also came out. Then I was really, really thought, science, doctors, can't go that far, but then no one can help. I think still we say, we are like 2015 years, science, medical, or literature begins. I think death, dying comes, still Bardo teachings, Poa is more better choice. I don't need, so we have any other, we have even AI, we have technology, there's death, dying, there's not much tools right now. They don't have tools how to die, most probably. Therefore, I think the Bardo teachings, Poa is the best technique. I didn't find any other solution how to die. And then I thought, then, then that's really reason. When you die, what's really important is not just die ordinary place. If you're a Dharma practitioner, you need some good images. When you die, which is you have connection. Tara, you need to put Tara, Tonka or statue. You can see, that. Or you Guru Rinpoche, Amitabha, whatever, you need to have that image. Or like music, and also works, some mantra prayer or Vajra songs. Is, it's not like you're dying anywhere. You create the environment. The environment dying is very important. Environment is not much noisy, many different places, and a very comfortable, and put tonkas, some beautiful Vajra songs, or maybe shower blessing or Poa, or you can hear something like that. And that's a good environment of Poa, a dying, red environment. I went to also see the, I saw also when I remember I went to just saw when he dies, this one made very, very famous one maker. When he dies, I went to there before die, and he's just sitting there's one room himself there and just breathing there, and that's it. There's one nurse there. There's not his home, but we did some visit some maybe some practice that something like that. But when end dying comes, doesn't matter how much wealthy, how much famous, won't help you. Really more, that moment is where precious is your practice. Develop this lifetime. That's really, really counts. Doesn't matter. We are famous, we are wealthy, we are, have good names. Everything's just temporary. That moment is your practice, your mind. Really counts. All these things, that's really the one story about, there's another story. Okay, there's another story. Okay, and one more story, then we are done. The another story is, also San Francisco, people, there's one man, he lives up there, Four Seasons, that there, he has place there, up there, he lives there. I went to visit his wife is, went to ask me come there. I went to many times, and then, lunch with him, also dinner sometimes, and then we do practice. I give, they say they want to give some practice. He cannot remember anything. This is very short. He's not able to do many things. What I taught is, he have practiced Dharma, but not that deep into practitioner, And some people like, but they don't do anything. And then ask, his many years struggle, so many years, I think 9 years he's staying in health care, 3, 4, 5 people care, and really not living is not good, just really difficult life, and always feeding, and everyone's feeding, and then just 4 or 5 people day and night, 2, 3 people daytime, 2, 3 people at nighttime. The shift, 24-hour care. He's living that situation, but he stayed almost 6, 7, 8 years, and then. But I wish we can do more practice. I always thought he's doing more before, but he cannot do anything. They ask me doing something very simple practice. Then I ask simple, and then I teach Om Ah Hum. The body, speech, mind. Just repeat every day, and then his wife go there. They repeat Om Ah Hum. You can say Om Ah Hum, Om Ah Hum, Om Ah Hum. That's his meditation practice, this man. Even you can do that. And that's really daily practice. He did practice that. And then, then someday they says, they ask me maybe my husband is, really, not doing good. Maybe he's going, they asked me to come to San Francisco. I went to there, San Francisco, and he's, laid down, and then his daughters there, and wives there, and some other family members, they're there, and some nurses there. I did poa. He just lying down. But I think he's dying. I just did poa. I did poa and some practice, and I talked to him, don't be fear like that. And then after we did that practice and came back. 1 hour later, they called me, he passed away. I think I realized sometimes people holding up, I think sometimes people need permission to die, Almost He's just holding up. He's waiting that moment, you know. He's waiting that moment, you know. His family members here. I says, no, you okay? Like I did poa. That means he's dying. He's let go. He's so many years holding. You know, many years he's holding. You know, one live. You know, just doing. But the moment says, okay, now just relax, do poa. He thought he has some permission. Then he let go, and half hour or 1 hour later he died, passed away. He's before people can talk to that, you know, the man, but then, you know, just like that, I realized, you know, sometimes people struggle so much holding, and they need some permission or some, you know, dying, you know, some practice. Maybe okay, now I can relax, let go. Time to go. I feel something like that, and many times happen. You know, sometimes you do poa, and after doing poa, and then, you know, half hour people die and let go. They let go their, you know, this life, and therefore, yeah. And I think that's very good. There's good death experiences. You know, like, and they're all wonderful. They all. Doesn't matter you're rich or poor, you're educated or you're psychologist, lawyer, doctor, doesn't matter. When death comes, Dharma can help everyone. That's my comment. I have many other stories, but we don't have time to talk all these things. But it's really, really very important. You know, right now you're familiar POA, doing practice, meditation, you know, learning some Bardo teachings. Of course, you will really understand Dzogchen. That's extraordinary. When you know the Dzogchen, die with pure awareness, yeah? You stay in a Rigpa, death, fearless death. That's introduction Bardo teaching. I think sometimes people call Tukdam, means like you remain with pure awareness. That's called Tukdam. You know, like, and immerse with, and you die. And then also, Dzogchen teachings are really, really the best way to die. I think when you stay pure awareness and you die. And then also POA, Amitabha practice, and each year. I think people need to do that. We don't know when we die, you know, I just don't know. You know, I told these people many times, preparation, death is not just only for the death, for the living. Because they say, if you not fear death, you have good life, you happy life. One way, sometimes we are unhappy, our mind is a little bit scared, fearful. The reason is we think we need to die someday, you know. If you know how to die, you know, you have all these strategies, techniques how to die, and then you feel happily live, you know. My own experience is why I'm, you know, happily live is, I know POA. It's okay, no big deal, you know. When I die, I know how to, you know, I starting Dzogchen. This is the reassurance you live in. And therefore, life is right now, good living is, you know, come from, you have a strategy, a technique about how to die. And you think, moment death is no problem, I think you have you enjoy life. Therefore, it's not just only death is just death only, but death is starting death, you know, teaching our learning of death, dying, or like talk about these things, more understanding deeply, is the about what I say is learning right now. And therefore, Bardo teachings, they talk about this. Bardo teachings, during this life, what you did, he says, you need to do is listening teachings, contemplating the teachings, meditation the teachings. That's called doing this Bardo. And you need to do all these things. Listening, contemplating, meditation practice, doing this life, when you're alive. The moment of death, and then you know how to do that. It's Pardo teachings and Poa, all these things are very important practices. I think that's really, I think, I just say a few words, death, dying, and then everybody, we cannot talk about the death, dying teachings, but, we need all, I encourage everyone doing, receive or all these teachings and prepare yourself to face, and journey in next life. And then this is one other very important thing. Past life and this life and next life connected. The other is makes different is, this is very important, another very important point of view. You believe next life, also determined by moment death, right now living. I think the moment death is, most people, for example, many, someone say, oh, there's a next life, says there's a next life. How these people die, next life, I don't mean, hell and heaven, that kind. Next life means there's, after death, there's another experience, another dimension, another, it means like California, you come back, US, or you come back, like Europe, or some, that kind of life. It's not like hell, heaven, or you can go some other room. If you believe, believe or you don't believe means believe, both is believe. We don't know, then it's believe, yeah? We don't know there's next life. We don't know there's not, you don't believe or believe. And I was, many times I've talked to next life. Also, you believe in next life affects your, this life, your well-being, happiness, or moment death, well-being, happiness. And many people also optimistic, like say many Tibetans doing, this always doing prayer, they feel meaningful. Why? The meaningful, because they believe in next life. Something they prepare, it's just not like a journey. They're saving some, create some merit, or collect some positive, and that really meaningful. If you are, believe next life or don't believe in next life, that's an impact to your personal life right now. Your priorities, your choices are totally different. Your belief, then your priorities, choice is different. You don't believe, your priorities, choice is totally different. Therefore, what's the Bardo teaching, Poa is talk about next life. And my own experience, it's continuing journey, how do you know, we talk about this many times, actually no one knows really what's happened, people speculations many times, even the science, they don't know, they have no idea, science scholars and many different things, they don't have definite, 100% don't know, knows. Therefore, actually, no one knows what happened. But let's just say 50-50, If you don't know, you need to put 50-50, yeah? No, really. And that means the 50% chance next life, that means you must be prepared, yeah? 50% chance rain, that means you need prepare, yeah? 50 chance, maybe you have accident, maybe you need prepare. Everything preparation is future, yes? Oh, I prepared this, something happen in future, and most preparations make sure. 50 chance percent, I'm not talking about Dharma, just generally worldly way, worldly way. But 50% chance we have next life, I think be prepared that. I think the preparation, doing these things also determined by your also moment of death, and also priorities this life. My own experiences, my own personal experience, I'm just grew up that culture, but I don't know how to evaluate that time. Oh, it's mine. No, I thought, belief, I say believe, that's good. Don't both believe or like is next life is good for me, and I think very helpful. I always talk many times of next life. Then I thought, I can write that book, something like that, talk about it. How do you, believe next life is the bottom line is this, the bottom line this. Since everything's mystery of next life, no one knows, the bottom line is who you trust. Okay? Who you trust regular people, or just science, or like, I don't know, it's nihilist people and material people, or you trust enlightened beings like Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Where you trust, that detail, or you trust certain point, and then, I trust these people, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, enlightened beings, and then, or you trust regular, intellectuals, someone don't believe in next life, who's their characteristics, which you can trust worldly. And that really determines everything. And actually, I saw that, it's not like we don't know, no one knows fact, actually. No one knows really the truth. World is so much suffering, world is so confused, politics confused, everyone's confused, everyone's so much bias. I really, for me, is the more I have the worldly experience, went to different countries, politics, people's doing so many things. People have different kind of relationships, people unhappiness, happiness deteriorates, everything. The more I know these things, the more I really gain confidence, trust with enlightened beings. You need to have life experience. I have life experience. Wow, this world is so many different ways, so confused right now. And so, just like that. Therefore, I think that's really reason, believe in next life and not believe, make, your priorities and your choices makes difference. Therefore, I think also something like that, Dharma practitioners, if you're a Dharma practitioner and you need to choose, wisely, what's benefit you, Therefore, for me is, benefit, I'm not talking truth, but benefit, I remember I have 3 different reasons. I don't remember all things, but I think one is I remember, I remember 2 things. One is, first reason is who you trust. I trust enlightened beings, that really reason. Second is, what is good for you? Your happiness, well-being, believe in next life or not believe in my happiness, well-being, I'm more optimistic, I believe in next life. I think that. Or second is, there are 50 chance, I need to prepare 50, there's 50 chance, there's next life 15, I need to prepare that. I think 3 things, I think more reasons. Therefore, you need to have conviction. And once you decide that way, and also that affects your moment of death. And that's preparation. Also, you make that decision is also preparation. One way you're a Dharma practitioner, I think even not Dharma practitioner, I think that's really for me is really big practitioner. For me is, Dharma practitioner. I look, and therefore, in this life and there's next life, that's really reason I need to prepare. I'm doing practice meditations, very authentic. I'm doing, helping others are really benefit, not just right now, future. They says, this is really true. If your mind is extraordinary this lifetime, and then attract extraordinary, your mind is also extraordinary next life. You have extraordinary mind, you have extraordinary life. Therefore, practice Dharma is not just only this life your mind is come down, but practice Dharma is life is entire forever your life is. Therefore, you practice Dharma meditation because not on this moment, this life, or future countless lifetimes. You prepare all these things. That's really you practice Dharma. Not just only this life, you know, some calm down your mind. I'm very stressful, I need to calm. No, that's very small. But that's really reason. I think people think that way. Because I practice Dharma, because I have, you know, this life and countless lifetimes come up. I need prepare all these things. Then how do you do that? I have my consciousness become extraordinary. My mind is become pure, pristine. Then wherever I go, it's extraordinary. My die, extraordinary. When I born, it's extraordinary birth. I have extraordinary life because the environment is extraordinary because you have extraordinary mind. You never born ordinary places. You never born negative suffering places, you know, because extraordinary mind produce extraordinary reality. Ordinary mind produce ordinary reality. The negative mind produce negative reality, yeah? That's called many different things. Therefore, Dharma practice not just only, you know, focus this life or moment to death. Dharma practice, meditation, all these things forever. Our consciousness goes everywhere, anywhere, and future. Okay, I think that's really we are right now in 1:30, and we are here. Then that means we have some questions, answers. We have Q&A session. We need have
Thank you, Rinpoche. Yes, we do have some questions, and I'd like to say that if you've asked a question, it may be merged in with someone else's because there were some duplicates. So Thank you for your patience. The first question is, how do you evaluate that you have accomplished POA practice and prepared for dying?
Okay. Value means how? Yeah, I think value is two different ways. One is, you know, there traditionally you do the POA 1 week, and there's certain signs come, you know, like here, you know, like your headache, you know, traditional POA style, you know, you put some, you know, what's called that, grass at the head, you know, all these things, and there are many different ways to improve your sign in that. The other thing is, you know, how do you value it is, this is more experiential, different way. If you have devotion of Buddha's Bodhisattvas, you practice POA, and this is, and you know, as many people ask me that practice, and you know, if you have, you know, you recite Amitabha's name, then naturally that experience, when moment of death comes, you know, you repeat multiple times, you train your consciousness, and you train, you know, like you eject your consciousness into heart of Buddha Amitabha. You train that multiple times. When you die, naturally goes that direction because you're trained. And then ask me how that affect, how do you know? I think if you have, we don't know anything, even if we don't know anything causes, produce conditions, you know, right now, but what's really conditions they need, this is different, you know, what this is. You have really have faith, Amitabha Buddha, and you recite the name, that's the conditions. That's really this, that's lead to, and you have devotion. And that's really our, and then you repeat that hook. That's really are the right conditions. The multiple times you do that, I think that really, that's really are the evaluate. That's really good. That's really the good sign. And there's no other place to go. And you don't see the, you know, for example, you do the, you know, yeah, that's one way you can tell. Even you say, even you holding just, you know, Buddha's there's called 4 causes reborn pure land, Amitabha. First is, you know, 4, I don't remember, you know, I think remember, first is you want to go to Buddha Amitabha. You say, I will go to Pure Land Buddha Amitabha. You have that kind of intention. Second is remember the names. You recite the names. Third is whatever you practice, you dedicate into born there. Fourth is having bodhicitta. I think 14th. These things restore, and then you have a good experience. Yeah, that's really one way, and I think that's really are the value add. All these values you have cultivate, and then the result is that result. That's called 4 conditions reborn to like that. I think the bottom line is if you have strong devotion and connection, then it's you say I want to go to, like say I want to go Hawaii. I want to go Hawaii. You know, many times. And then maybe you go someday Hawaii, yeah? If you never thought I go to Hawaii, then I never go to, I don't have that kind of mind, and you never go to Hawaii. Similar, your tensions, your positive attitudes, your meditation, ejecting, all these things are forces, powers, and create that experience.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
The next question is, when one has learned to practice POA, how do we know exactly when to do POA for ourselves or others before death so that we don't cut our lives short?
Okay, yes, you can do anytime POA as long as you do Amitabha's practice end. You know, you can do, you know, you can do each year do POA, and then you can do Amitabha's, you know, Amitabha's means Amitabha's POA is, you know, and go to, you know, Pure Land. Amitabha's means, you know, you extending your life. You know, that practice is very, always POA is very end that Amitabha's practice. You know, all POAs, you know, first visualizing Amitabha Buddha, and when you, then Amitabha Buddha dissolve into you, and you become Buddha. Amitabha, but Amitabha means long life Buddha, turn into, then you say Amarananjawandi Sohazi, you doing the mantra, then you gain longevity. There's always practice in that. That's always necessary. And I think the Word Mad Perfect Teacher talk about details that comes on la Mijalon. And that's what you do. And only you, until you die, say, oh, I'm not dying, then that time you don't need to do. And until that, you need to do that practice. Oh, no, I'm dying, then you just not doing Amitabha's, you are doing only that POA. Then most important thing is you can do, you know, let's say on like next 2 weeks, you think you'll die, then you can do whole entire, these 2 weeks you do POA. And special moment death, you know, like you can make sure you remember everything, and then, and also you cannot do anything, someone also next come to Lama, or there's no Lama, some, you know, Sangha members can also do POA, you know, reminds you, and also you can do it that way.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Some of us are not confident about our ability to die well because we're not confident that we have accomplished our practice. How do we build confidence?
Confidence, many things, anything. If you don't have anything other than just have devotion and faith, that's you have that's confidence. That's really, you need trust, devotion, faith. That's one way. You have confidence, poa or like a Dzogchen, then it's good. But if you don't have that, just moment of death, don't be hesitating, don't be having a speculation or this exist or this, but you have confidence, fully trust. And Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or Guru Rinpoche, or Tara, or doesn't matter. You need trust, and that time you feel confidence that, and then just practice, and I think that's even if you don't know any other practice, that's maybe you can do that moment. Just believe and trust, have devotion, fully, engaging, and how do you say, wholeheartedly practice, wholeheartedly, sincerely you request, helping process your dying, and prayer, surrender your egos. We have many egos, what is that, what's that, so many egos. Just let go ego. When you die, the egos don't any kind of benefit. Let go egos and completely surrender to the dying to or companies, take refuge at that moment. I think if you have that, that means you have confidence. That's confidence. And that's one confidence. And then Poa, Dzogchen, all these things, foundations, that. If you have that, that means you have confidence. I think that's everybody can do. So you're a Dharma practitioner, yeah?
Thank you. How do we help someone who doesn't believe in Buddhism? Also, can you please tell us how we can support our parents who have not been exposed to Bardo teachings at the moment of their death?
Yeah, and think parents, I think I was remember last year sometime, I was in Bhutan maybe, someone, Los Angeles, there's one couple, and the man is, his mother dying or father, maybe father dying, yes, father dying, but the sisters and mothers not practitioner, but that dying, the son, has a little bit practice Dharma. He did some very prayers, like some Bardo prayers, we translate Bardo prayers. The Bardo prayers very beautiful. Everybody can understand it, and a little bit more universal. Or dying, what do you do? And it's a little bit, it's not like weird, like some things you cannot connect. A little bit talk about death more beautifully, I think this kind of literature can resonate for everyone. Moment of death comes, everyone desperate, do something positive, yeah. They're really against, the family is really against something, then it's different, but they're a little bit neutral. They open mind. You can do beautiful prayers and then, or talk to the family member, this is okay, or maybe give them, some, I think we want to maybe future prepare, like very open, very universal kind of prayers. Even someone not Dharma practitioner can help, And also the books are very accessible books, they can do practice. And yeah, I think that will help, you talk to them, not just very strange way, more you can understand their language to introduce them death, dying, or some prayers will help for, and I think that's will help.
The next question is, the Bardo Todol text is very long and hard to understand for most of us. I would like a version that is easy to use for assisting a person through death and the 49 days of the Bardo. Rinpoche, do you know if there is such a text helpful for Westerners?
Yes, I think I always thought, I'm translating many things in the future, maybe we do something like that, translation, or like something really practical manual, dying something, come from Pardo tutor. I thought that's we need, most Pardo tutor translations are not really clear. Tibetan, you look at the Tibetan translations totally different, it's very different day and night. Therefore, I wish, we can do right now we have available Hongchen Basu Pardo prayers. They're very, we have available that. We can share that for you also. You like Hongchen Basu Pardo prayers, we translated. And that's really also good. And then, Pardo is, I think, very, very big. Yeah, you need to have bring the practice together. I don't see in English anything relevant right now, but I think we need to do a future that. I don't think so we have that.
Thank you. If you can do it with a sincere wish to help, is it okay to perform POA for a dead person if your own practice of POA is not so strong?
Yes, I think that's fine. There says, you don't do, but I think you are sincere. Of course you can do it because there's nothing wrong, And, there sometimes people, order to POA, someone, so much you need high realization. They says that. But also you have sincere, really, here there's not many people left, In Tibet, there's so many people you can do POA. And Western world, there's not many people performing POAs. I think that's really reason. You are sincere and then you really care, you have devotion, you have connection. I think Dharma, I think you can do POA. I think no, that's good, I think.
The next question is, I have 2 clients in their 80s and they are not following any religion and want to die via death with dignity, where they take a medicine that will kill them. They are very adamant about this. I don't know how to help them. Can you speak about this?
Yeah, that's really, here's people, the decision is, what their decision, what their wishes, we don't have, we just pray for them. There's no way you can stop, that's different things about legal things about everything. But it doesn't matter what people choose, but we need help is, best wish for them to help, and then even they die, we before pray for them, and we just best for them. Sometimes people want to die. The reason is their life is so miserable, and then difficult. I was never thought, when I was young, I never understand why people die, they want to die. No, I understand more, why people die, because I saw many people when they're hospitalized, then the quality life is not good, and especially I was asked long time. I have English tutor. She's tutoring me, and also she's works hospice. She told me, I asked her, I want to know what's really have challenge or their hospice, older people. He says, number one challenge is the families, the children hardly visit the family members and, parents. That's really the hard part. She told me, I don't know what that really, many people, or that's only community. Therefore, most people, life is, there's not much going on because only pain, is, sadness, unhappiness, fear. And I understand their pain also, and I understand their struggle. Therefore, whatever, I never understand before why people die. Now I really understand their pain is difficult because the quality of life is so not good, both external, very pain, your body's pain, really excruciate. Your mind is really, someone's really chaos, anxiety, fear, and all of this. You don't have much connection outside the world, you don't have good family connections, and then people, I really understand their pain. Therefore, I don't think so. We don't have choice except what they want to do. That's their life, yeah? And the only we can do is, whatever they choose, we just, encourage them. Please don't do, I don't encourage them, but depends. But the most important is dedicating them to good, helping them a good process, I think that's we can do. I think you understand their pain, then you have more release maybe. Their pain, and their pain is we don't accept, then we think, wow, people are dying. But people have struggle, really. And I think that's really people want to die maybe.
I work at the bedside of the dying. The hardest thing I have experienced was when unresolved trauma brought in great fear and flashbacks during the dying process. The most extreme case was when the patient had been taken to Auschwitz concentration camp at age 13 and her family had been killed. I did not know how to help her get past this fear that overtook her while she was dying. All of the scary memories were flowing back to her. I think she had repressed them, but they came back while she was in active dying.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, that all difficult. Human suffering is really, I think therefore the best thing is how do we, help them to ease or take care, nurture them. People dying is, many people have this kind of trauma or struggle or difficult things, and helping them. Also, Dharma is you also doing positive, that's really the Tibetan, we do 49 days, practice. I think here, US, your Dharma practitioner and also people after die, also you need to do some positive things, you can do a donation, you can do, fish release, you can do, some things you can do and then feel much better. I don't know, I'm not typically talk about this question, but generally I think they need to do something after people die, something positive energy. Prayers, maybe 1 month, or dedication, or anything is very important. Every day, if your father dies, a mother dies, or maybe I always recommend people, someone die, each maybe one day, every day you can do some practice, just half hour or 15 minutes, that'd be good. But each week you can do some practice for dedicated them. Not just leave, oh, my father's dead, that's the end. No, but if you can do, the best way you helping is after you dead, is you dedicating whatever you practice. I think that's also important for the dying person.
The next question is, being ordinary people and not Dharma teachers, what can we talk about with someone who is dying that will help them the most?
whatever tools you need use, there's no Dharma teaching, you need all tools to use whatever you can, talk to them, do prayers, show, what they talk about, just ordinary people, you can do whatever, they have the capacity, And maybe someone accept, maybe someone never into Dharma, maybe question, can I do some practice meditation for you? I think people accept meditation. Yeah, then you can chanting. That's meditation, You can say, oh, I can chanting for you. I can meditation for you. You few minutes meditation, then you do some chantings, names of Buddha, and that's meditation. I think meditation is maybe more accepted than in other things. And then you say, I'm doing meditation, for you and, help you journey. I think that's really help. Any other tools, Bardo teachings, whatever the dying person accept, you can help. All tools we need to use. There's nothing, no lamas, and you need to be there. You need to do everything.
Dear Rinpoche, some people have asked how Tibetan Buddhists know the details of what happens to the consciousness after death up to 49 days. Is it that the masters of the past have remembered what happened through their dying process? Or what is the explanation?
Explanation is, that's not always, dying. That's, I think that's one range, die 49 days. I think not master, but enlightened teachings, Buddha and, past and Guru Rinpoche, Pamma Sambhava, their teachings, they says 49 days, people's consciousness wandering many different times. And then when you're wandering, you need to have helping them, navigating them, finding good next life. And they're hungry, and you can offer food called Ser. Ser means you can burn in, flour, and then manta becomes their food, and then how to feed them through their consciousness, how to purify their negative karma, how to guide into the next level journey and next life. All this talk about 49 days, the navigating the dying person. This is not an individual. These things are like Guru Rinpoche, Pamma Sambhava, and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, their perspective, they think, they receive that. It's not like a Tibetan culture is, like enlightened beings' perspective. They see, how people after they die, they 49 days. That's really one occasion, not necessarily. Some people are more, some people maybe less. And therefore, Paxman, one range, like that. I think therefore doing this 49 days, you're wandering Pardo, and then many different food, clothes, meditation, purification, guidance, everything you provide is 49 days practices. These Pardo teachings includes everything, all these things.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I'd also like to add that on TLC's website, there's a page devoted to SOAR practice that might be helpful for people to get information.
Yeah, SOAR practice is very important.
The next question is, how important is it not to touch the person when he or she is diagnosed as dead in Western medicine? And how long is it needed or necessary not to touch the body?
I think not to touch. I think this is not to touch. I think this is don't touch lower body. Lower body. You can touch here. This is upper body is okay. I think remember the part of the teachings. They says if you touch lower body, where you touch, consciousness goes there. That means this is lower bodies, lower rooms, lower world means a little bit confused, suffering rooms. That represents your lower body. The higher your bodies, higher level conscious, higher level world. Here, this is the gateway to Pure Land. Therefore, you say touch here usually. If you touch here, that means conscious goes up. Where tension goes, that means. And it says touch upper body. I think that maybe remembered, especially don't touch feet, something like that. Okay, therefore, I think that's recommendation. And therefore, the reason is consciousness goes that direction. And then say we don't want to go conscious down. We need to go conscious move up. Therefore, touch this area.
And we have one more question I think we have time for.
Yeah.
In Chinese culture, we have a ghost and spirit festival coming up next month. Is it necessary to do puja for people or ancestors who have long passed on this day, even though they have moved on to another life?
Definitely. I think always, even you 50 years pass, or it's still helpful, because I really remember I have the very wonderful grandma, like past almost like 30 years, 35 years. I always remember someday I want a little bit ceremony for her. She, 35 years. I think that's good idea. Doesn't matter wherever your consciousness, wherever you are birthed or wherever you roam, which dimension, send good signal. They receive different energy, different vibe. You send. I think that's really doesn't matter. 10, 20, even 100 years ago, I think there's nothing wrong. I think it's very good, beautiful. I remember all the time. I want to do my grandma. I have very good connection with my grandma, when I was young. And I really, she's so lovely. And my mother's still alive. My mother's not passing, but my grandma died 35 years ago. And I would say I want to doing very pardo, or other, tutor, just 1 or 3 days. You can't do that. Even your father, mother passed away long time. You can do right now. Still, you never give up that. You just send in good thing. That means your connection. That means you send in something, very extraordinary energy. Send that frequency and touch their consciousness where they are.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
And do you want to answer another?
I think one more, then we finished. Okay, one more.
One more. Rinpoche, please talk about the importance of relying on a teacher during our lifetime and as we die, even if that teacher is far away or we don't have a personal connection with a teacher.
Yeah, teacher is very important. A teacher, this lifetime, teacher, parents, and friends, family, and they're all very important. I think we should have good connections, everyone. That's really are the purpose life. Sometimes we have struggle, everyone. I think everyone's, difficult sometimes, especially family members. Of course, they need to have good life, and then you need to connect everyone. And you need to have good connection. Teacher, family members, parents, and children, all these things makes life more meaningful. And teacher, especially mentor, and whatever you have, teacher, and then you practice and follow the teachings, and then doing practice is the number one. That's follow teacher, doing practice, and then doing guru yoga is also another way to connect that. I think then we are finished today, look like.